The on-chain metrics for Solana are looking incredible recently, and I'm going in heavier. I'm going in heavier in terms of content, in terms of research, and in terms of investment. In today's video, I'm going to lay out my thesis for why I think Solana is a great place in crypto to be today using on-chain data. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and as a reminder, nothing in this video is financial advice. This is solely intended to be educational and to help you do your own research. Now let's get into it. To start, let's look at where the price and market cap of Solana sit today. And that's going to be important to give some context when we talk about on-chain metrics in a minute. If you look here on CoinGecko, you see that it's currently ranked number 5 with a market cap of around $69 million, just below BNB. In comparison, Ethereum is around $287 to $288 million, and Bitcoin is around $1.1 trillion. Then if we go and look at the dominance, so usually people talk about Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin as a percent of the total crypto market cap. But if we look here at the Solana dominance, then we can see it's just over 3% today. And it's hit that point several times this year, including last month, including in the spring. And if you look, for example, back in 2021, when Solana was near its peak, it wasn't quite that high. It was around 2%, 2 to 3%, but it's comparable. So the dominance hasn't really broken out in a major way yet. However, if we look at Solana in terms of ETH, so SOL price over ETH price, we can see that it's at a new all-time high today, and it was also at a new all-time high yesterday, surpassing its previous high in 2021. So something is going on here where Solana is outperforming the rest of the market. And the thing is that this is relatively unprecedented. And what's unprecedented is an alternative layer 1. So a layer 1 that's not Ethereum, it's not Bitcoin, is consistently outperforming the market over several years. And it's outperforming the market even after it's already one of the top chains in the top 10. Usually what happens is competitors to Ethereum, competitors to Bitcoin, they will rise one cycle and then they'll kind of die off the next. But something is going on in Solana where it is gaining traction in a way that previous layer 1s have not. And I'm going to show you how in this video. And by the way, for people who are saying, oh, you're just talking about this because the price is up, we started talking about Solana on this channel again last summer. So here's a video talking about why I'm bridging to Solana from last September. Here's a video about some airdrops that you could have been farming at the beginning of last October. So we've been talking about Solana, probably the chain we talk about the most on here, for about 10 months now. But I'm actually even more interested in higher conviction in it recently. So let's look at why. If we go over to DeFi Llama and look at the total value locked, so that's deposits across all DeFi applications on all these different chains for DeFi. I'm including liquid staking here. If you want to understand all these different checkboxes, you should watch my video about how to use on-chain metrics, but I'm including liquid staking, but I'm not including double count. So I know there's been issues in the past where one application was deposited into another and it artificially inflated TVL on some chains, including Solana in 2021. That is fixed in terms of metrics now. Those sorts of double counts are not included. And so the first thing you notice here is probably Solana is number 2. However, it is quite a bit below Ethereum. However, notice also that it is one of the few major chains that's growing right now, up 10% in TVL in the past month, compared to most of these other chains being either down or flat. Ethereum, for example, is down 14%. Binance Smart Chain is down almost 8%. And note also how if I group Ethereum layer 2s with Ethereum mainnet here, Solana has less than 10% of the TVL of all of these put together. However, it is still pretty firmly the number 2 chain that has significant real usage. And I think that's significant because, as we'll talk about in a few, Solana has really differentiated itself from other layer 1s by presenting a viable alternative to Ethereum. And there's also signs that Solana's growth may be accelerating. If you look at stablecoin inflows, which is one of the most important metrics, and historically a metric that Solana has lagged in, they've started to pick up recently, up 8% in the past 7 days. And basically what this means is that real money that is generally backed by dollars or treasuries outside the world of crypto, is actually flowing into Solana. And this is both a good sign that people are trusting Solana as well as a good sign that more real money is entering the ecosystem, which will inevitably end up getting spread around to different tokens, different yield pools, etc., and cause this total pie to grow. But if we look at the actual activity on Solana, I would argue that it's even more significant than the total value locked. For example, if we look at the volume on decentralized exchanges by chain, then we can look at the dominance over time and see that around a year ago, so July 2023, Solana was rank 5 with around 3%. In August 2023, it was even lower. Not even sure what number that is, but it was less than 2%. Fast forward to July 2024, because we're only a few days into August. Solana was the number 1 chain in terms of DEX volume with 29.84%. So in 1 year, you have Solana's market share increasing by 15x. That's 15x in 1 year. How many things do you know that grow 15x in 1 year? Not just even in absolute terms, but compared to the industry they're in. If you look at it in absolute terms, then a year ago, Solana's DEX volume in July was 1.7 billion, and then it was now 57 billion in July 2024. So just insane growth here. And then to add another metric to this, if you look at the top applications and chains by fees, so this is fees collected, and I think this is also one of the most important metrics, because what this shows you is what people are actually willing to pay to use. Some of these fees are going to the protocol itself, some of them are going to liquidity providers, lenders, etc. But the fact of the matter is that consumers are paying to use them. And if you look at the top 10, let's just look at the top 10. We've got Ethereum, Lido, Uniswap, top 3 over the past 7 days. Those are on Ethereum. You've got Jito, which is on Solana. You have Solana itself. You have Tron, which is its own chain. You have Radium on Solana, PancakeSwap, which is mostly on Binance Smart Chain. You have Pump.Fun, which is on Solana, and then you have Athena, which is also on Ethereum. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the top 10 are now on Solana. And by the way, this number 11 is also on Solana, but 4 out of the top 10, 40%. And then we look at derivatives. So if we look at the top platforms by liquidity for on-chain derivatives, the number one is Jupiter Perp DEX on Solana with over $600 million deposited. If we look at the actual volume, we see that Jupiter is number 3 behind DYDX and Hyperliquid, which are on their own chains. So now you've got significant perp DEX volume occurring on Solana as well. And I know the common complaint that a lot of people have is, well, they say that's all good, Solana, a lot of people are using it, but that's because it is centralized. And to be fair, Solana does have room for improvement, as do many chains. Keep in mind, though, Solana is much younger than Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's about 4 years old. So a fair comparison would be, okay, how is Solana now compared to how Ethereum was in 2019? But if you look at the validators on Solana, they may not be as decentralized as something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they actually have a large number of validators. They have 1,500. And if we jump over to stakingrewards.com and look at the actual staking market cap, so that's the value of all of the staked assets on Solana, it's currently number 2, just behind Ethereum. So that's all the SOL that's actually dedicated towards security on the network. And so what is the takeaway from all this, and why is Solana different from other layer 1s? Well, if you've been in crypto for a while, you know that historically most alternative layer 1s, especially most Ethereum competitors, would have a brief time in the limelight, and then they'd kind of fade off and never come back. What makes Solana different now is that it's in its second cycle, and it's actually far outperforming its first cycle in terms of adoption, and it is seriously giving Ethereum a run for its money in terms of on-chain usage. And the reason for that is that Solana has effectively carved out a niche for itself. It's found product market fit in people who either want to do things on-chain with low transaction fees, since Solana, for whatever other criticisms you might have, has extremely low transaction fees, and especially for people who want to trade meme coins, right? There's hundreds of thousands of meme coins on Solana at this point, most worth nothing, most will be worth absolutely nothing. And there's people who like to trade them either for fun or because they want the chance of hitting it big. And it turns out that market has been big enough that Solana can actually carve out real significant usage. And I think it's reached escape velocity. Again, just going back to some of these stats real quick, when you see that it's consistently doing billions of dollars of DEX trading a day, when you see that it has billions of dollars on chain, all of these metrics feed into each other. It's a positive feedback loop where more liquidity means that there's more attention in the ecosystem. It means that prices are going up, which draws more people in, which increases DEX volume, which increases the return on providing liquidity, which attracts more liquidity. And ultimately, that's how you can have things where these ecosystems spiral up in terms of TVL very quickly. And just to give some context, remember Solana had around $8 million of TVL now. That's around what Ethereum had in September 2020. And you can see how quickly it went from that up to having 100 billion, right? Just over a year. If you look at how long it took for Ethereum to go from around 8 billion to 65 billion, it was maybe 6 months or so. And so these things can happen really quickly in crypto. And I think all of the signs, when I look at these on-chain metrics, point towards Solana having an increased share of on-chain activity. Given all that, what exactly can you do on Solana today? Well, first off, if you want to learn how to do things on Solana and other chains on an ongoing basis, check out my Substack, dynamodefi.substack.com. Every week I send out recommended readings, on-chain analysis, farming and airdrop opportunities, as well as the events that you need to know each week, such as token unlocks and macro. Again, dynamodefi.substack.com. But if you want to actually use Solana, first thing you need to do is set up a Phantom wallet. I have a tutorial on this that I'll link down below. Set up a Phantom wallet, and then you'll be able to withdraw SOL from an exchange and actually start making on-chain transactions and experiment in the ecosystem. From there, there's a few things that you can do to start. One thing you might want to do is earn some yield on your Solana. If you're holding it on an exchange right now, you're basically leaving money on the table because you can liquid stake your SOL. You'll be able to sell it at any time. But you earn 8% APY through Jito, because Jito has staking plus MEV. So 8.01% on your SOL for staking it. And the thing you need to know is there is inflation on SOL because they need to incentivize people to run the network, since it's a relatively new network compared to something like Bitcoin. So if you're not earning at least that yield, this is higher than the inflation rate, but if you're not earning at least that yield, then you're basically losing money. So get your SOL liquid staked. You might also want to swap it for another token. You can go to Jupiter, which is the leading DEX aggregator on Solana, and it'll find you the best rates for swapping either SOL for stablecoins, for other projects that are on the Solana network, like Helium, which is a decentralized fiscal infrastructure network, or for various meme coins, various DeFi coins, etc. You can swap for those on Jupiter, or maybe you want to do some digging yourself and find meme coins on your own. Great place for that is birdeye.so, which is going to have all of the on-chain assets that are being traded with a high volume on Solana. And you can actually see, for example, what the trending tokens are, who the top traders are, and so on, so forth. I'm also publishing a video with my latest Solana DeFi strategies in the next few days, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And for more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.